So you've been doing this for a long time. You've been in stand-up since the '80s, and you had your show Politically Incorrect in the '90s. How have your views on religion evolved, or have they, since that time you started doing comedy publicly?
Well, probably on television, first on Politically Incorrect, now on Real Time. I'm probably the same dude, you know. I mean, I always was skeptical of religion, was never fond of organized religion. I think my views on whether there's a God or not have shifted. I think I used to say I was always against religion, but I think I used to say I believe in God or something. Now I just say I don't know. I mean, the message of this movie is I don't know.
Right.
I don't say I'm an atheist because I think atheism mirrors the certitude that is the hallmark of religion.
Right.
And this is my big issue with religion is people are so sure. You know, they're so certain of what happens in the afterlife, down to the specifics. You know, you get 72 virgins, not 70, not 75. Really, how will you know this? Oh, when you meet Jesus, he'll be sitting at the right hand of the Father, and he'll be wearing a white tunic, and there'll be gold piping on the sleeve, and there'll be 12 angels around him, and 4 of them will be blowing trumpets. It's like, why don't people go, how the hell do you know this? Well, what are you, where are you getting this from? I don't know what happens in the next world. That's how I know that you don't, because you don't possess mental powers that I don't.
Right. So you're not a flip-flopper.
No.
But no, that's interesting. It's the whole concept of the afterlife is really interesting, and how it's like a selling point. Like you say in this film, you're selling doubt, which is your product. You know, like and religion sells really what I think is the afterlife. Like, listen, you're gonna get 72 virgins, you're gonna get all that stuff.
Exactly.
But have you ever? You don't know, but have you ever imagined what it could be? Like, does that moment when you die, like, does it ever scare you? Eternity, like. Do you think it'll just be a long dream, or?
It scares all of us, but man up and just say, I don't know, as opposed to saying, I'm going to make up a story or believe a story that somebody else is telling me who doesn't know any more than I do about it.
Right.
You know, it's childish. It's one thing for the people in the era when the Bible was written. Okay, they didn't know where the sun went at night. They didn't know what a germ or an atom was. They were primitive people, so they made up stories. That's what ancient people did. They created myths to answer these questions. But now we have science, so it's unforgivable,
Right.
intellectually, I think, to retain these myths.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to agree with you on that kind of stuff. Good man. And you know, you're a cashew, just like me. You have a. You've never heard that?
No, a cashew nut?
Yeah, you're a nut. Catholic Jewish background.
Oh, wow.
Bum,
That's
bum, bum.
interesting. No, I never heard of that. Yes, I was raised Catholic, and then when I was a young teenager, I found out my mother was Jewish. I knew she never went to church with my father and my sister, but of course, when you're a kid, if you always do something, when they start doing something very young, you kind of never question it. So I just never questioned why Mom doesn't go to church. I don't know. She just doesn't. And I hate church. And it so scared me that I wasn't, up to even asking questions about it. So I just did that. And my mother is in this movie. I interviewed her and my sister, to ask some of these questions on camera. That I'd never really asked her, like, why didn't you tell us that you were Jewish? Or, why did we stop going to church? We stopped going at a certain point. And
So you never did Hanukkah or Yom Kippur? Or
I don't think I've ever been in a temple except when I did this movie. No, we never did anything Jewish. We were Catholic.
Otherwise, it would have been Maher.
Yeah.
Right?
That drove my mother nuts.
Yeah.
That
Cashew.
people mispronounced, yeah, Maher with the H in the middle. And, she said to me at one point, people get my name right now because they know you.
Right.
They know they say, you taught them how to say the name, which is, a small victory, Mom. Well, we got her right on camera right before she was 88. She didn't want to do it. 88-year-old ladies do not want to appear on camera.
Yeah.
But, she was so great to do it. She did it for me. And she's so funny. She gets me
Yeah, she
my
was funny.
first couple of laughs in the movie and really sets up the whole thing because people want to be able to know that they can relate to the person they're watching, and that even though my background, cashew, as you call it, is a little different, everybody has a screwed up family, in a
You're
way.
humbled in a sense in front of her, and I think it's good to
Yes.
see that in the film because you're attacking a very sensitive subject in this country.
Right. Yes.
And I,
Go ahead.
well, I wanted to talk briefly about politics and how religion. I really liked your treatment or at least you found that guy. I don't know, I can't remember his name, but like 95% of our congressmen and women are either Christian or Jewish. That none of them are agnostic or atheist. They're not listed as such. And I think that's not a.
I don't think there's one who would dare say he's an agnostic or an atheist.
The only
dropped
ones
out.
are unlisted. They just don't list. So their religion. So I actually painstakingly went through and looked at everybody and yeah. Wow.
Cub reporter Jimmy Olsen's on the case.
No, I was curious and I think that's not a true democratic. I mean, obviously there's a lot of problems with our democracy, but that in particular.
It is not representative. When they say, and they always like to brag in the halls of Congress that they always like to brag that we have a Congress that looks like America and we have diversity. And what they're talking about is we have women in there now and we have blacks and we have Latinos. Yeah, but it doesn't matter because they all think alike. Right. What real diversity...
Pretend to, at least.
Right. What real diversity would be is if you had some people who didn't believe in the talking snake or at least professed to. That would be diversity of thought.
Yeah, and they all believe in, the wrath of Jesus and God will come back and the apocalypse and well maybe not, but many of them.
The devil will get you or the Antichrist or the devil and the Antichrist. That's a question I ask people and nobody seems to know that answer. What's the difference between the devil and the Antichrist and who works for who? I wanted to know. Is the devil above the Antichrist? Does the devil give the Antichrist his orders or does the Antichrist give the devil orders, or are they like the Joker and the Riddler? They're both bad guys, and
they're in different episodes.
They kind of team up sometime to gang up on Batman, but they're doing their own thing.
Right. Playtime is over.
Playtime's over, but it's a really funny movie.
Go see it. Religulous opens this Friday.
Make a statement. If you go see this movie and it does well the first weekend, I think it'll beyond just having a great fun time. It'll send a message that we are not about to let the Sarah Palins take over this country as they have for the last 8 years.
Bring your fundamentalist friends.
Right.